So I think that I am Facebook Live, or at least I hope so. Um, it said I don't have a strong enough connection. So this is my first time, and I don't know why, but I am really nervous about doing this. Um, I went for a 16-mile run this morning, and the whole 16 miles, all I could think about was this Facebook Live video that I was going to do. So I'm not sure why we feel so much fear. I was thinking about that too while I was running. I'm going to get up in front of several hundred people next week and give a talk, and I'm okay with that. But for some reason, doing this video made me super nervous. But I know enough about fear to know that you just have to keep going anyway. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and think about what's happening right now in our schools as we gear up for this new school year. I've had a chance to be in 3 different schools this week, and I've had a lot of mixed emotions about what I've seen. I went to William Tell Elementary's open house to support my daughter's boyfriend on Tuesday, and he's teaching in my old 4th grade hallway. And so I walked in the hallway, or down the hallway, and I stopped and paused at my old classroom and saw someone else in there decorating her room and getting ready to greet parents, and felt really sad that I'm no longer doing that. I'm no longer greeting 23 kids who are excited to come to school with their new tennis shoes, or I don't have that core group of kids anymore that I will grow with and have them for 6 or 7 hours a day, 180 days a year. And it just kind of made me think that sometimes when we leave our teaching positions and we step into a coaching role or a title position or an admin position, we don't really know what we're giving up, because you will never again have that core group of students that you get to work with. So then I went down the hallway and I stepped into Mr. Hare's room, and I was completely flooded by remembering what it's like to be up there teaching and working with those kids all day long. And one thing that I'm really very strong about, have a very strong opinion of, is that when you leave that classroom and you're still in education, you still need to get in those classrooms and teach. And so while I don't get in there for 6 or 7 hours a day, I make sure that I get in there and I teach very, very often. I know Mr. Hare said that I can come in anytime and teach, and so I will probably be in his classroom every other week teaching lessons, because I do believe that as a consultant, if I'm going to be up there telling teachers what we know works, then I need to be in the trenches with teachers doing this too. And so that's kind of always been my philosophy. I had a superintendent who I was the curriculum director, and she allowed me to do that job in a way that I wanted to do it, which meant that I wanted to be in the classrooms with teachers teaching weekly. And so now that I've kind of gone full-time with Strobel Education, I still make that a priority. I will be going in classrooms and teaching lessons for those teachers that will have me. So I'm hoping that I can get into the area schools around here a little bit more this year. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you that while I was kind of sad at William Tell, I shifted right back over into my happy spot, because as I was walking around, I was really taken back by what teachers are doing in the summer. I mean, I found all these great positivity statements and bulletin boards that said growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And I talked to some of the teachers, and I know that they've been doing professional readings. They've been reading The Innovator's Mind by, there's some of my friends. I see that now. Loretta, Chelsea, Amanda, Tammy, Poppy. Hello. But they're reading these professional books in the summer or in their spare time on top of creating lesson plans. Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck, The Innovator's Mind by George Couros. And they're not only just reading them, but they're like putting them into action. And that's what I see all across the board as I'm in schools, is teachers they're working their tail off and they're putting their new learning into action. And so one particular bulletin board that I posted earlier this week had all these numbers on it, and it said growth mindset. And I was talking to Whitney Leatherland about how she was going to use that board, and she said every morning her kids will write an affirmation, something positive or good or a belief that they have about themselves, and they will put that on their number for the day. And I just walked away and I thought, this is exactly what we want for our kids. You know, we're way more than language arts teachers, math teachers, science teachers, social studies teachers. What we're teaching in that classroom is a whole other set of skills as well, because teachers are teaching kids that who they are and what they have to offer, it means something. And so they're fostering that belief that even though you might not be good at something yet, that you can get there, that with enough practice, we can get you there. And I've really been reading about growth mindset, and it's kind of taking me to my own experiences. You know, all of you know I'm a runner and I run all these crazy miles, and a lot of times people will stop me or something and they'll say, oh, I'm sure you're a super healthy eater. You're always running those miles. And I always like jump right in and say, oh gosh, no, I'm a terrible eater. I eat two Hostess cupcakes every night at 11 o'clock before I go to bed. And just by reading Growth Mindset, I've realized I've got to change that statement. Kim Strobel may not be a healthy eater yet, but I am working on it. And so I think that's the same philosophy with our kids. You know, there are certain skills that they may not be good at yet, but that they can get there. And so just as I walked around the school and I saw the teachers who I know their summer breaks have been short and they get shorter every year, I was just really taken back by just their initiative and their drive, and that they really, really, really care about growing these kids and about helping them learn to be contributors. And so the next day then I had another experience. I went to Breckenridge County to an elementary school, and as I was pulling in about an hour before my conference, I saw the custodian was cleaning the front doors, and he had a little boy with him, maybe a 5th or 6th grader, and I thought, oh, his son must work with him in the summer and help him. And so as I was unloading, both of them immediately jumped up and said, hey, can we help? And I was just amazed by this little guy, this little boy who he just right away took my cart, started pulling it in, showed me exactly where to go. And like I said, I had just kind of assumed that it was his son. And later on that morning, I was talking to the custodian, and I said, wow, is that your son that helps you? And he goes, oh, no. He said, actually, that's a boy that lives behind the school, and his dad works all day long, and he's all by himself. And so years ago, he asked if he could just start helping us clean the school during the summer and even during the school year. And so he just pals around with me and helps me, and he enjoys having someone to talk to. And the man said it with like such humbleness, like, you know, this is just what we do. And I thought to myself, this is exactly what's going on in our schools. From the volunteers, some of you remember me talking about Mimi from last year. Mimi is like an 80-some-year-old lady at Washington Community Schools that for the last 16 years volunteers every single day, all day long. She's never earned a cent for it, nor does she want any money for it. And she sits in a room and prepares materials for teachers. And when I ask her why she does what she does, she says, because I think the teachers are very overwhelmed, and anything I can do to help them out, I do. And so I just left there and I thought, you know, this is the heart of our schools, folks. From the teachers, the administrators, the students, the custodians, the volunteers, the bus drivers. These are the people who are giving themselves every day because they believe in kids. And so, once again, I just kind of walked away from that school and I thought, yep, I'm remembering my why today too. And then yesterday, I went up to Columbus Schools because they had a retreat for teachers. And I was really taken back. The principal, Mr. Brett Bozeman, started our day off by introducing a girl, Alana Cook, who I believe was either in the 8th grade or going into the 8th grade last year. And she had been diagnosed with brain cancer last year, and I guess it was pretty severe. And she beat it. And so he brought her there, her mom brought her there just to show everyone, here she is. We taught her at the elementary school, and she beat this. And he held up a jersey. It's going to make me cry, but he held up a jersey, and he said when he found out that Alana had brain cancer, oh, thank you, Cousin Heather, thank you, that he dug out her jersey from when she was at L. Schmidt Elementary School, and he hung it on his wall. And he said, Alana, this is going to hang on my wall until you beat this. And yesterday, he handed her the jersey because she beat it. And her mom got up there and said, you know, I have to tell you all, Alana's not gone to this school for 3 years, but the entire time we have gone through this, you all have been there. You've been praying for us. You've been sending me messages. She went on to say that Mr. Bozeman would send her random text messages at 9, 10 o'clock at night just to check in and see how she was doing. He hadn't had Alana for 2 or 3 years in his school. But I thought to myself, these are the teens that are leading the way, that when we come to work, we're not there just to collect our paycheck. We are there. These people are there because they truly believe in our kids. And you know, my good friend Tara said this week, if you can't find the moral imperative in education, where can you find it? And so I just felt really called today to say that I think we need to really be thankful. I know there's so many things going on right now in this world, but there is so much darn good going on, and it's going on in your children's schools. And so the teachers seem super ready to greet all of those kids, to see all their brand new tennis shoes as they walk in so proud. And here at Strobel Education, we're actually gearing up for our fall series. We're going to 5 different locations, Cincinnati, Bowling Green, Evansville, Indianapolis, and Louisville, Kentucky. And I'm going to teach 2 topics that I taught last year, close reading, which I'm a huge fan of. I tell every teacher out of every 6 weeks of your curriculum, 2 of those weeks you need to be teaching close reading. You got to put complex text in front of kids so that we can teach them how to pull and extract the information out of that, because when the time comes for them to take the state test, it doesn't matter if they're reading below grade level, they're going to have to make their way through that text. And so that's how we grow readers, and that's how we close the gap. And then I'm going to be teaching standards-based grading, which all of you know I am super passionate about. I follow Robert Marzano, and if you really want to increase student achievement, standards-based grading is phenomenal. It changes your teaching. I spoke to a teacher the other day, and she had moved from a school that didn't do it to a school that does standards-based grading. And she said, Kim, I could never go back to the traditional grading system. She said, I am such a better teacher because of the way this is laid out. And she said, my kids are thriving in this system. So we're doing those 2 topics. And you can go to our website, strobeleducation.com, and sign up for the early bird special. Hi, Bethany. So Bethany teaches at William Tell, and I took some pictures of the positive affirmations that she had in her classroom. And so I just love this shift that's taking place, this entire, what we're learning to do is we're learning to really see all the abundance, all the blessings, all the good. And that doesn't mean that sometimes things aren't terrible and really bad. I mean, shoot, just in this office the other day, I was laying on the floor having a complete meltdown because I thought there was no way I was going to be able to accomplish what I had intended to accomplish. And so it doesn't mean that we go through life all the time just saying, oh, everything's great. That's not what positivity is. But positivity is acknowledging maybe when something's wrong, but then shifting over and really looking at it through the lens of light. And so I loved seeing those quotes that Bethany had in her classroom to remind the students of that. Before I go, so I've talked enough about education and Strobel Ed and why I'm really excited to serve teachers in that way. But I feel like a couple of other things that I need to talk about is I need to introduce all of you to George. So George, as you've been seeing from my Facebook post, hey Georgie, can you say hi? So George is kind of a Facebook sensation right now. He's very tired this morning. He's had some discipline school this week, which he's not been very happy about. But Georgie is kind of like the new love of our life. And right now he's resting peacefully. I'm excited to train him as he gets out of his puppy stage and gets a little bit stronger. He's going to become my running partner. So anyways, I'm pretty proud of myself. I've done this. And oh, hello, Emily. Hello. So I can see that some of you are on here. But oh, I know. I hear you, Amanda. This whole camera thing freaked me out today too. But oh, gosh darn, we can't stay in our comfort zone, I guess. But it is difficult. Thanks for understanding my fear. But anyways, I'm going to leave you with this. I want the teachers who are watching this to step in those classrooms next week or whenever you start back. And I want you to hold your heads really high. Because to me, there's no more noble or sacred profession than teaching, because I know no other profession that gets to step in those classrooms 180 days a year and change lives, and that's exactly what teachers get to do. And parents, oh, George, George is not a camp. George is just super, super lazy, Amanda, right now, but usually he's like all jazzed up and we can't get him calmed down, which is why he's in discipline school. So that version that you just saw of him is completely abnormal. But thanks. But anyway, parents, I ask you to support the teachers, because your child's teacher is going to make mistakes this year. And you may not agree with everything, and it's fine to voice that opinion in a nice way, but I want the parents to really be rooting for the teachers too, because those teachers are in there and they're busting it every day for your kids. And so I just think that it takes a community of people, and I appreciate the parents that are supporting their kids at home too, and know that it's more than just the teacher's job to educate their children. And so we have so many parents who volunteer and work with their kids and are proactive with the teachers and supporting them. Actually, one parent brought Mr. Hare, my daughter's boyfriend, a gift when she came in. He had a gift of like all these markers and pencils and glue, and it was such a sweet way to introduce, him into the classroom. And so that was really neat. But anyways, I'm going to leave you. I think there's like a button that you can hit that you can follow me so that next time I go live, you get a little notification. I am going to try to do this and just kind of do what Gabby Bernstein calls riffing. And I'm just going to pick some topics. Sometimes they're going to be about education. Sometimes they're going to be about the happiness research that I'm doing. And I'm just going to talk about them. So I wish everybody a great weekend and a really, really great start to the new school year. Thanks.